Hello YouTube and welcome to another video. So behind me I've got two different bikes. If you follow me or have watched my other videos, you'd recognise my dirt jump bike, and then I've also got a BMX here as well, which are two different bikes and two different disciplines of riding. But I don't know about anyone else, whenever I explain to someone that I do dirt jumping or freestyle mountain biking, a lot of people seem to think that it's either BMXing or just normal mountain biking, where it is actually a different discipline. But obviously if you don't know biking or you're new to riding, you're not going to know that. But yeah, between the two bikes there is actually quite a lot of difference, and in this video I'm just going to explain the differences between a dirt jump bike and a BMX. And it can come down to sort of where you ride, what you want from riding, so what you want to do on the bike, and like your local spots can definitely make like a big difference to what one you prefer to ride, or if you're unsure on what one to buy, that can be like a big factor. So yeah, I'm going to get to explaining the differences between the two and hopefully help you if you're stuck to choosing what one to buy. The first thing I'm going to point out with the difference between the two bikes is the sizing of the bikes. So a dirt jump bike is bigger than a BMX bike. So basically a dirt jump bike, the frames are bigger and the sizing of the wheels. So on this dirt jump bike it's 26 inch wheel, which generally speaking that's going to be the sizing of a dirt jump bike, which is like more common now. And the reason I say that is because you can get a 24 inch jump bike, but they're a lot less common. They're sort of the past generation of dirt jumpers, but there are still people that just prefer 24 inch bikes and still ride them. But like I say, 26 inch is generally the size wheel that you'll get on a jump bike, and the frame is bigger. And this BMX is a freestyle BMX, so it's got 20 inch wheels, and everything's meant to be compact on the bike to make it as small as possible, because the design for a BMX is to do tricks and to do freestyle. If you're predominantly going to be riding skate park and wanting to do more tricks, then I'd point more towards a BMX. But the dirt jumper is made more for, as it sort of says, is dirt jumps, and it can hit like bigger obstacles. So on like a slopestyle course, for instance, you've got bigger jumps, and where the bike, a dirt jump bike, is bigger than a BMX, you basically, the bigger the bike, the more stability you have when you're jumping a bigger jump. So yeah, that's a massive difference between the two, if not the biggest, and it can definitely play a factor into what one you decide to get or choose in the end. So the second biggest difference is the forks on the bike. So a BMX bike comes with rigid forks, which basically, again with the sizing, it means that they can just compact the bike more, and it's ideal for tricks and sort of like the freestyle side of things, which it's generally designed for. So it's just more compact and just less to go wrong, rather than having a suspension fork which comes on a dirt jump bike. So the main benefit of having suspension, it absorbs the bumps. If you have like an uneven course or slopestyle course or dirt jumps, it just means that it absorbs the bumps, and it can make it so if you've got a bump in the track, a bump in the takeoff of a dirt jump, or just bumps in general, just means that you've got more give. But they do come with a price, suspension. So yeah, they're definitely another big factor to take into account. But my recommendation would be, if you ride more, or if you've got a local slopestyle course and it's more uneven, then look more towards the suspension forks. If you predominantly ride skate park, then go more towards the rigid forks. I'll get a close-up of the two so you can see the difference. The third difference between the two bikes are the handlebars. So on a BMX, the rise has to be much more on the handlebars, compared to the dirt jump bike, which I'll show you now, which you can see the rise is not much at all. And the reason for this is because the shapes of the frames and the geometry of the bikes are different. Because if you had flat bars on a BMX, your riding position would be so low to the ground. I'm sure some YouTuber has done a funny video somewhere of that, but yeah, that's another big difference. And then that also brings me on to the stems. The stem on a BMX is generally longer compared to the stems on a jump bike, which I'll show you on the jump bike now. But yeah, that's like I say, another big factor. The bars are very different on both bikes. Difference number 4 is the brakes that you can run on a dirt jump bike and a BMX are different. So on a dirt jump bike you can run a much better and more powerful and reliable brake, in my opinion. So you can run a hydraulic disc brake, which I'll show you what that is now. Okay, so there's the brake caliper and there's the disc. Whereas on a BMX you can get away with running no brake. Like I say, where they're more designed for tricks, a lot of people don't run brakes on a BMX, and the reason for this is so that the brake lever doesn't get in the way. So as you can see, the bars are completely clear, there's no brake lever on here, but you can run a cable brake on a BMX, but you can't run a disc brake on a BMX because there's no mounting on the back of the frame to attach the brake caliper, which I'll show you now. It would normally sit on here, which as you can see there's no mounting for the brake, and obviously on a dirt jump bike they've got the bits on the frame here where the bolts go into the caliper and allow you to run a hydraulic brake. So yeah, that's another thing to consider, are the brakes you can run on each bike are different. The cranks that you can run on a dirt jump bike, you can use actual mountain bike cranks. You can run BMX cranks as well, so you do have the option. I used to run BMX cranks, but I went to mountain bike cranks and just preferred them. Whereas on a BMX you have to run obviously a BMX crank, which is only compatible with certain sprockets, and the bottom bracket makes it so that you can only run this style crank basically. So yeah, that's quite a small thing, but that is a difference between the two. So yeah, they are, I would say, the 5 main differences between a dirt jump bike and a BMX. There are little things like on a dirt jump bike you can run a different saddle. I'll show you what I mean. So I run a Chromag saddle which has a rail, which on a BMX generally speaking you run a pivotal saddle which doesn't come with a rail basically. So you do the seat up with an Allen key through this little hole, and basically means that you don't have a rail, and generally speaking you use a pivotal saddle on a BMX. And obviously with the option with suspension on a dirt jump bike, you can adjust the suspension gauge, and then you also have an air option, so you can put air into the suspension as well. Whereas obviously with a BMX where it's rigid, you don't have that option. But yeah, I would say if you're stuck between choosing to buy a dirt jump bike or a BMX, I just look at where you're going to ride or where your local spots are and what you want to do on the bike. So for instance, if you want to do more tricks and you ride more skate park and street, I'd probably go more towards a BMX. And if you ride slope style, if you want to ride more dirt jumps and you're more into just sort of flowing the jumps, then I'd recommend looking at a dirt jump bike. Price wise, dirt jump bikes are more expensive, generally speaking, but there are cheaper options out there, and the biggest thing that makes a jump bike more expensive are the forks, the suspension. So yeah, like I say, they're the 5 main differences between the two. I hope this helps if you're looking at buying a dirt jump bike or a BMX, or even if you're looking to switch up what one to get. So yeah, give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy the video. Comment down below whatever you thought, and subscribe to my channel, because why not? And I'll see you in the next one. See ya.